just details of the instruments they कैसे इन सारे ऊपर से there are these seismological instruments made at different locations along the Narmada River, which are shown by number, and these locations are mentioned here. Now, the with the paper, the real-time system for energy project, the existing governance structure of Indus and Parishar Dam operating in cascade is proving challenging day-to-day during the flood season, due to different constraints of being posed by the court also for to not to uplift the level of the Omkareshwar project, and due to different water sharing problems, we have to maintain to as far as to satisfy the NWWD award stipulation. To reduce the human interface in the system wherever possible, what happens is that most of the decisions practically they are taken by the people, and the people sometimes may be taking their decisions based on the older data. So if we have a real-time data, these decisions would be more practical and more efficient to support decisions on the operation of project based on the seamless data inputs. Now, for this, we need to establish real-time operators such as dam health and operation monitoring involving systems that provide information as quick as possible, which can be analyzed and interpreted by state-of-the-art technology based on which.
Can you come to the conclusion?
Yes.
These are well known to the audience.
Yes. Basically, the real-time systems, they would be giving a warning to avoid the disasters to the downstream stakeholders as well as people on the upstream who comes under the NWA, and the different points are elaborated. So, what we are doing is we are putting various sort of instruments in the catchment area of the Indra Sagar project in our scope, excluding the portion which is taken by NVDA, and this real-time system, it will provide a real-time data what is coming into the tributaries, into the main river, as well as what is the state of affairs inside the dam, what are the stresses, pressures, what is the tilt, what is the seepage below the dam. So those technologies, these can be assessed by different agencies in the NSDC corporate office as well as the state government offices as well as CWC and our NHPC, who is one of the promoters of these projects. These government systems, basically what I would like to conclude that we have prepared a framework and we are going ahead with it. And we plan to complete it within 2 years, and such sort of systems in different components have been implemented in different areas in the abroad, as well as some projects in the Krishna and Bhima basin and BBMB. But the integration for this magnitude, this would be the first work in this Madhya Pradesh, and we are going ahead with it, and we hope that with the cooperation and active involvement of the stakeholders in the dam safety as well as the water resources department, we can be able to achieve this. Thank you, sir.
To conclude the paper presentation, though 2 more are listed, probably they are unavailable and it gives us time. Any questions to any of the authors from the audience? You have to be very brief. Yes, sir. Anybody? Yes, Dr. Reddy, please.
Yeah, this is the last lecture from NHDC. The gentleman missed the main point, the actual damage that has happened to the Indira Sagar Dam. The downstream bucket, spillway bucket, washed away. I think he talked a lot of theory, but it would have been very informative to have known why the dam bucket got washed away and what has been right wrong. That was the most important point of dam safety at which we are interested.
Yes,
The spillway bucket got washed away in one of the floods. Nothing more serious could have happened to the dam safety. But we didn't hear anything about it. It's okay. All this theory is okay.
Yeah.
But it would have been very nice to know why that happened.
So, Mr. Dixit, you have something to respond, or you take note of it? Because your paper is up now.
Please, what real-time thing you are talking about technology?
Actually, the damage what Reddy Saab is saying, it has actually occurred in previous seasons, and when we analyzed it, we found that the water which we had to spill from the spillways, that was based on the long-term forecast. And basically, this is an effort to avoid such things in our projects as well as the other projects which are in other areas, because the reservoir regulation rules are to be followed, and those are based on the long-term forecast. So, and moreover, the energy dissipation arrangement what was built up earlier, it could not take the flow of water of high discharges. This is the state of affairs, and this is a thing which we want, that it should be in a real time, and the decision should be based on the 1 and 2 days. The previous data should be okay, but the decisions which are to be taken today, we cannot decide them after 6 months or after having.
I think the point is taken note of. Is there any other agitating question to any other presentations?
Of decision, the health of aging dams and corrective measures. So, in detail, for example, the scenario of aging and more practical and detailed measures or mechanisms of integration, or new technology for inspection and monitoring. And these are both for dam body and foundation, and equipment, for example, the gates and other important equipment. And these papers shows very useful examples of actual dams. So that all of these papers are very interesting and useful for developing management plan and repair and improvement plan, and also for daily management and in an unusual situation inspection. And I do believe in order to tackle the issue of aging dam, cooperation of technology such as civil engineering, machinery, and telecommunications is very essential and extremely important. Anyway, I hope that all the presenters will more further progresses. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kido, for that brief but very forceful summing up. There is an announcement to be made. I don't want to add to the initial comments that I made with regard to the importance of the health of aging dams and corrective measures. Not only I would indicate about aging dams, even some of the current dams which have been built because of the technological revisions, especially in respect of hydrology. We are obliged to revisit in quick successions. So this session was meant to address that. Time is lacking, and there were some good presentation, but a lot more. It would have been interesting if it had come during the session. We had a variety of problems, and many, even before the programs started immediately, they have been tackled all over the country, like Kota Dam, there was a problem, Parvati Dam, and there are some dams which have suffered damage in Rajasthan now, which is yet to be addressed. But anyway, the time is restricted, and I don't like to take more time. Announcements.
Thank you, Chair Sir, and I would like to thank you all the audience, especially the presenters, presenting a very nice presentation regarding the aging of our dams and the problems we face. At this time, I would like to also We would like all the audience to give a big hand of applause to the presenters. A couple of quick announcements, as we all know that we are really running late, pretty late time, and it's the lunch time, and we're supposed to end by 12:30, but we started at 12. So at this time, I would like to ask the audience and all the dignitaries, please take a quick lunch, which is served outside in your exhibition area, and we will be meeting here at 2:15. So we are giving you at least half an hour to relax and then have your lunch, and be back by 2:15 here. And the persons who are presenting in the next session, please at 2 o'clock, by 2 o'clock, if you can be back here and going to update your presentations, please be here, and our students will be here to update all the presentations. And we have a pretty packed up session for the next session number 2, which will be on the flood management and existing dams. So all the chairs and co-chair and the repertoire, please be here on time, and all the audience and the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
The red lines are the wall, the panels of the concrete cut-off wall which was installed. I'll come back to this. You can also see that the embankment is just touching, obviously it's just touching the rock on the abutments, and this on the left abutment here, from you on the right side, is the buttress, so-called buttress, because the rock here was inclined in a way that it was going away from the embankment, so there was the risk of a gap. The embankment settles, there was a risk of a gap developing here, so they put here in the 50s already a concrete buttress. 180 meter, 44 meter, totally about 60 meter deep gorge. I talked about what they tried or what they did to rehabilitate this dam. This is the concrete cut-off wall installed, and on the downstream side there are drainage piles installed after the concrete cut-off wall and a so-called seepage tunnel. This was to drain away water which could be there at the downstream side, and this drainage piles were connected to the seepage tunnel. Now, what is important when you talk about rehabilitation with a cut-off wall? The main characteristics of such a concrete cut-off wall is low permeability, high plasticity, and high durability. So this low permeability and the high durability, this was what the client looked for to rehabilitate his core. The concrete as such is important. Fresh concrete, we need a good long workability to cast these big panels. A short setting time, to have a certain arrangement that your panels will be able to install these panels in a certain time. Important also for such a wall is the wall is continuous there as a designer or as somebody who is in charge for the dam, for the installation of these works, has to look at that the wall is continuous, that each panel ties into the other. You need a minimum thickness of such a wall, and to have a real sealing of such a cut-off wall with a real sealing effect, you need a good connection to the bedrock. This design was made by C.M. Smith. These are some data for the concrete cut-off wall, strengths, elastic module. You will find this in the paper, and as we have less time, I'm not going too deep into these issues. Permeability of the cut-off wall was below 10 to the minus 9, which is quite high, with a wall thickness of 1 meter. And the depth of the wall was not for the full gorge. Also, in other projects, we closed the entire gorge. But here, it was not necessary. C.M. Smith designed that to have a assured stability against sufficient. By German, it's quite difficult to pronounce. The wall needs the depth of 60 meters, just above 60 meters. So it was decided to have an add-on that a surplus safety to install the wall for 70 meter depth. So you know this picture. 70-meter. We installed the wall with a grab, mostly in this upper embankment part, down to 40 meter, 30-40 meter. This is quite cost-effective to do so. And we did the cutting into rock with cutters and over the full depths of the panels with so-called hydro cutters. In hydro cutters you can work quite accurately, and to have assured panel position and assured overlap of the panels, so assured continuous wall. This is the typical arrangement for such a project. Challenging to have a wall connected to such steep flanks, to almost vertical flanks. There are ways to do it, and we did it on other projects as well successfully. I talked about the rock embankment. It was decided that the rock embankment is minimum 30 centimeters along all the rock line on the right and left side. The picture you can see here, this is where they cleaned the rock before they installed this concrete buttress. I talked about the concrete buttress. Before they installed the concrete buttress, they cleaned the rock here manually. Here again, the buttress. This is where they cleaned the rock. It's the picture where the picture was taken. And we connected our wall there, not to the rock, but to the concrete buttress. So we did cut into this concrete and connected the cut-off wall to the concrete. I talked about equipment. This is typical equipment for such a project. You see here a grab, this hydraulic grab, where we excavated the upper part of the embankment. And then this is a hydro cutter. With a hydro cutter we did the cutting into rock, and we also did the cutting into the neighboring panels and assured the verticality of the entire wall. Now talking about how did the wall perform. The wall performed, we made a report about quality issues. The client was happy, the engineer accepted it, but the real trial, we didn't expect it will come that soon. We finished the wall in 2012, and mid of 2013, there were heavy rainfalls in the southern part of Germany, and here in the circle here, there is the Silbenstein Dam. So the Silbenstein Dam needs to be used to its full capacity. It was never used to the flood storage level, but the client decided with a wall installed, with a wall connected to the rock, with no more seepage issue in its core, to really dare and to have this reservoir fully impounded. And you can see that this is the height. I talked about this flood storage level already. These are the hours and the dates. So at the 2nd of June 2013, a huge volume of water flew into the reservoir, and to perform as the dam is designed to perform, to keep flood away from Munich and to reduce the inflow into the Danube River. So they had to hold back this water. You can see two more also important lines. The green line is the inflow of water, and the red line here is the outflow of water. So in this critical day, at this critical day, they reduced even the outflow of the water and only released it after the rain reduced and the inflow in the reservoir was reduced. I talked about this bridge, the bridge at the upper end of the reservoir. This is the bridge. And these are two pictures of the bridge. One is taken in June 2013, when this reservoir was at full supply level, at full storage level. And the other one is a year later, when this reservoir was at a normal operation level. You can see that there's quite a difference. So to conclude, it was for the Silbenstein Dam the first time that this dam was fully impounded. It was fully impounded for quite some time. For several weeks, the water was stored in this reservoir, and this reservoir was holding the water back from the city of Munich and from the river Danube. The wall performed very well. We have nicely letters from the client. The client is very happy about this wall, and also the abstractors, the downstream abstractors, are very happy that the flood was kept away. And there are some dams along the Danube were already in a critical stage, so it was important to hold back the water, not to risk these dams, or dikes, sorry. Yeah, with the reservoir management, this is the issue here, and limited release of water, it was achieved to keep the burden on the downstream abstractors in the region towards Munich, Freising, Landshut, further cities along the Isar, and the Danube towards Passau to a minimum. This is a successful team who installed the wall, and I'd like to thank you for your time. Mr. Chairman, I have, sorry to interrupt. Maybe you could allow one question if the question comes from the auditor now, because I have to leave. I have 2 meetings tomorrow in Germany, so I have to fly back this evening.
So any questions, please?
Not necessarily a question. We did treat something very similar type of approach for quota, right land, in 90s. We had a similar problem, and we did something quite similar to this in one of our dams in Rajasthan state in 90s. But there, the entire operation was done by more or less circular piles, and then thereafter having similar to this, fluid concrete.
Circular piles, a so-called secant pile wall, is also a possible cut-off wall. Secant pile walls are also executed by us successfully. The depth is an issue. To have really a tight and a continuous secant pile wall down to 70 meters, this is a challenge, and you need very experienced contractors for this.
Any other?
Why was this cut-off wall not taken up to the lowest bedrock level? Because as I saw, it was a depth of 70 meters only was made, and it was not taken down to the bedrock. Why?
That's correct. This was a design by CDM Smith, and CDM Smith designed the wall to about 60 meters. The reason was that seepage underneath the wall was limited due to the existing drought curtain, and the water would surface only on the very downstream side of the dam, so the dam was not at risk. This was a calculation from them, and it proved that this calculation was right. Sorry?
Did they do permeability tests to check on that?
No.
Then how did they come to know that the seepage was less at the lower levels than higher?
Half a year later, the reservoir was impounded to a level never seen, and the wall performed successfully.
That's okay, but my point was that the 70 meters, you decided on cut off for 70 meters depth. And
Yes.
Probably some testing may have been done on water loss tests below that to ascertain that the permeability is sufficiently low below that and does not need a cutoff below that. What some tests like that done?
Thank you for the question. No, there was no test as such. They did the finite element simulations on this, and the finite element simulations showed that this depth of 60 plus meters is sufficient.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Now we move to the second presentation by
and I would like to present the study carried out in an MTech thesis work, but this is about evaluation of 3 dam failure analysis models, and the student was Aravind, and then myself, and Mr. Roy, so Anand Roy is also one of the supervisors of the thesis. And its presentation is organized as introduction, objectives, models considered, features of the models, considered case study, results, performance evaluation, conclusion. Okay, so the necessities for carrying out this dam failure analysis is for preparing warning time and the probable area of inundation well ahead of the time, and it is necessary for getting clearance from the Ministry of Water Resources or the Central Water Commission and the Ministry of Environment and Forest. And the second aspect is to understand how the phenomenon has occurred. In case if you have got some data related to the failed dam, so in this case, the approach allowed is that we conduct identification of the inflow hydrograph based on the PMP, and then the routing that hydrograph through the reservoir, and development of failure conditions of the structure, and calculating the outflow hydrograph from the failed structures, including the spillway and that of the bridge that is happening, and then how the wave is propagating from the failed dam downstream, so that what time it may inundate, how much is the area of inundation, and for different scenarios of the failures. And so here I am taking up the study related to the actual incident, that is the second aspect of the objectives, that is on the simulating the event that has happened in 1979, 11th August. Today morning our Ministry of Water Resources Secretary was mentioning that he was in charge of the Rajkot district. So this dam Machu 2 is located on Machu River in Rajkot district, and upstream of this dam there is another Machu 1 that is an uncontrolled spillway situation, but then in around the 9th, 10th of August, as unprecedented rain occurred in the upstream of Machu 2 and Machu 1, and so the first reservoir, Machu 1, was discharging at a much higher rate, and then it was the flow was coming to the downstream dam, that is the Machu 2, but Machu 2, although they had something about 18 radial gates, but not all the gates could be operated, and some of the roads are permanently off, because Gujarat was at that time, it was a perennial dry state or drought prone state, so they never maintained the dam structure. That resulted in the jamming of the gates. Some of the gates they opened it fully, but a few gates they could not open, some they opened it partially. And so whatever propagation time, there was a commission set up to inquire into that under the retired High Court judge. And the commission report was available with us. And on the insistence, the study was given to then University of Roorkee, and the Vice Chancellor of the University, Dr. Jagdish Narayan, was the authority in the area of geotechnical engineering, and the study came to Department of Hydrology for hydrological analysis. And so this, you can know, we got at the insistence of the department, the commission chairman he ordered as PWD or the Irrigation Department of Gujarat to measure the cross sections after the incident has happened. So whatever levels they have marked, that was one of the things, whatever levels the high flood level has marked during the passage of the flood downstream of the failed dam, that information was given, and at those locations they measured the cross section in detail. And then the study was carried out way back in 1986. At that time, the only program available in, at least at my knowledge goes, it was available was a dam break, the National Weather Services dam break model developed by Danny Fred. And then later on, the HICRAS and the Mike 11 models were available. That's why it was a comparative study, because people generally get a confusion or the dilemma which are the models to be used for such purposes. So we have considered the NWS model, Mike 11 and the current HEC-RAS, or the US Army Corps of Engineers. And then all these models, they take this reservoir routing, bridge simulation, and river routing downstream of the failed dam. Now of course, I don't want to go much into the features because most of the people who are dealing with this dam break models, they must be aware of what are the procedures they are following in the case of the NWS dam break model.